Hi everybody and welcome to First Chapter Friday. Today we are reading the book Stuck. This is by Jennifer Swender, and it says right up here on the top, it says, sometimes moving forward means staying put. So today we are going to read the first chapter of Stuck, which I've actually never read. I see it in the shelves all the time and I never picked up. So here we go. Stuck by Jennifer Swender. Razzmatazz Pacific Blue. Looks like we're pretty good on that. Maybe we'll zoom it in just a little bit. Here we go. Boom. Perfect. All right. The first day you show up at a new school, some teachers give the person bringing you a real ear... Missy needs to start again. The first day you show up at a new school, some teachers give the person bringing you in a real earful. They say something like, "Don't you see how many I've got in here?" Then they make a face and look you up and down. One teacher pointed at me and made an outline of me in the air. Like I was so big, where was she going to put me? I have a right before the school year starts birthday. So, whatever age everybody's turning that year, I've already turned it, before the year's even gotten started. Plus, one time when we moved, they made me go do second grade a second time. But this teacher didn't point at me when I showed up at the door. She didn't roll her eyes and breathe out sharp, like I was the last thing she needed that day. She smiled, and I don't even think it was a fake grown-up smile. "Welcome," she said. "I'm Miss G." She wasn't one of those young teachers who try too hard to be your best friend, but she didn't seem like one of those old-fashioned super strict ones either. She looked like a normal teacher, except that she was tall. She was maybe the tallest teachers I'd ever had. Even I had to look up to really see her. The kids were sitting all curled over their desks like a bunch of fiddlehead ferns. Maybe they were taking a test. That's one of the only good things about your first day at a new school. If there's a test, most teachers will say, "Oh, don't worry about this. You weren't here when we learned it." She pointed to a desk smack dab in the middle of the checkered board room. I would rather have a back row desk, or at least an on-the-edge desk, but this was the only empty one, except for a seat way up at the front, where everyone could see you all the time, and I definitely didn't want that. On top of the desk was a book. Its cover was bright pink and shiny, and on top of all the razzmatazz, a bunch of numbers were floating out of some kid's head. Math. Good. It was kind of a book with pages you can write in. Most teachers barely ever really check them. They just glance them over to see if the blanks are full. "Page 178, she whispered to me. Almost the end of the book, because it was almost the end of the year. My last school told my mom that we should maybe wait to move. That it would be better for me to finish out the term. But my mom said it was time for us to go, even if it was the beginning of June. "Need a pencil?" the teacher asked next. I nodded. "Don't bring anything until your second day at a new school. You have to see what kind of class you're in, so you don't stick out too much. And if you think at least a pencil would be a safe bet, you'd be surprised. I was in one place where everybody got their own laptop, and another one that used these old-fashioned mini chalkboards. You don't want to be the only kid holding a pencil when everybody else has a piece of chalk." But this seemed like your basic pencil class. She handed me one that was long and new and still had a full eraser. And when she turned to walk away, I saw she had about 5 more. Pointing in all different directions through her ponytail, the back of her head looked like some kind of flying sea urchin. I sat down and bent over my desk like everybody else. The math was easy. I looked at the numbers and the answers showed up. Even if it's supposed to be letters that tell you things loud and clear, numbers talk to me a lot louder. I finished the page and went on to the next one. I didn't know if we were supposed to, but I never met a teacher who got mad and upset because a kid did more pages than they were supposed to. The next page had some wordy problems, though. I watched the letters moving from one line to the next, but before I could worry about which blanks looked like they wanted letter answers and which blanks looked like they wanted number answers, the teacher rang a little bell. It was the kind you ding at a store counter when you need somebody to help you. Round and silver and very shiny. The kids closed their books and put them away. I did too. I'm good at following directions. If you don't give teachers any problems, nine times out of 10, they won't give you any problems. Then I realized what was coming next, the introduction. The teacher would say she had an announcement to make. She'd tell everybody my name and that they should be welcoming to me. Then she would ask me to say a few words about myself, like what I enjoyed doing in my free time and why my family had moved. I have a couple of speeches all made up and memorized. I always say my hobby is snorkeling. It's the best kind of hobby that could be normal where we used to live, but is really hard to do here. And it's not the kind of hobby that a lot of people have and then want to talk about. I've never met another kid who said, "Oh, you're a snorkeler? Hey, me too." Then I say, we moved either because my dad got a new job or because my mom wants to be closer to her sister, who is quite ill. I can do these introductions so well, even I half believe them. "I have an announcement," the teacher said. "Told you." And even though I've done the introduction like a million times, I still get that feeling. I don't understand why people call it butterflies in your stomach. Butterflies are happy and colorful and free, and this feeling is none of those things. This feeling is spiky and tricky, and it stings. I call it yellow jackets in your stomach. But all she said was, "Time for lunch." I stood up and walked to where I thought the line would be, but the kids were still hanging around like they were waiting for something. "Okay," the teacher finally said, "alphabetical order by first name." I didn't get it. "And by the way," she added, "our new friend's name is Austin." A short gal with big glasses came right up to me. She showed me a smile, all railroad tracked with braces, and stuck out her hand to shake mine. "Hi," she said. "I'm Bertie." I didn't say anything. I just shook her hand and nodded a little. I didn't really shake her hand, more like I squeezed her fingers for a second. "You're first," Bertie said, "because you're A and I'm B. Except for Bodie, but he's B-O." She slapped her palm to her forehead and giggled. He's not B-O. His name starts with B-O, and mine starts with B-E, and E comes before O. But you already knew that. I scooted around her to get in front of the line. It was kind of cool to be the kid standing in the doorway with a view of the hall. The school had very shiny floors. "My real name is Beatrice." Bertie was still right behind me. "But I don't like being called B, just because I don't like bees. I'm not allergic or anything, I just don't like them." Bertie's words were buzzy like bees, but not like yellow jackets in your stomach. They were more like those puffy bumblebees, just flying around looking for a flower or something. "Do you have any nicknames?" I shook my head no. "Well, it's nice to meet you, Austin." She smiled all the way back to the rubber bands on her braces, which made one side of her face squish down more than the other. But her eyes were still twinkly crinkly, and her braces were cool blue color, like Pacific blue. Still, doesn't mean I smiled back. So, that was the first chapter of Stuck. If you are interested in this book, feel free to come by the library, and I'm more than happy to help you grab it. And I will see you next Friday. All right, have a good day. Bye.